This is Nightline.
Tonight, Allison Mack breaking her silence after her time in prison about her involvement in the NXIVM sex cult. How the Smallville star says she leveraged her fame to lure young women into sexual slavery. Plus, inside the hunt for the Louvre jewels. What clues are France's art police following in the $100+ million jewel heist?
It was really like a movie scene.
We're with a man who says he's related to one of the alleged robbers.
I sense a little bit of pride in what his friend might have done.
And inside the mind of a man whose business it is to stop heists like these. Could some of the precious jewels end up in engagement rings or a billionaire's basement? And Steve Martin making audiences laugh for decades in his time on Saturday Night Live.
We are two wild and crazy guys!
But what he'd most like is to make us tap our toes.
People go, oh, I didn't know you played banjo. I go, what else you been doing? You're not following my banjo career?
Releasing an album with fellow banjoist Alison Brown.
Did it ever hit you that, oh my goodness, I'm with a legend?
I kept reminding you.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, disturbing admissions from actress Allison Mack for the first time since serving nearly 2 years in prison for involvement with the NXIVM sex cult. Now admitting she leveraged her fame to recruit young women into the fold. Here's ABC's Janae Norman.
Allison Mack, the former Smallville star who pled guilty to racketeering charges after admitting that she was one of the lead recruiters for the sex cult NXIVM, is speaking out for the first time.
I don't see myself as innocent.
Mack admitting to the CBC's Uncovered series that she relied on her television fame to recruit women to NXIVM and then manipulate them into sexual slavery.
And it was a power tool that I had to get people to do what I wanted. I think that I was very effective in moving Keith's vision forward.
Keith is Keith Rainier, the mastermind behind NXIVM.
I'm an interesting person, I'm a controversial person, but most importantly, I'm an unconventional person.
He originally billed NXIVM as a vehicle for self-improvement, but it quickly descended into what prosecutors called a sex trafficking operation, where women were branded with Rainier's initials and coerced into sex. In court, Mack admitted to recruiting impressionable young women for Rainier and then blackmailing them into becoming sex slaves.
I was harsh, and I was callous, and I was aggressive and forceful in ways that were painful for people and did make people feel like they had no choice, and was incredibly abusive to people, traumatic for people.
Mack says she takes ownership for all the wrong she did during her time with NXIVM, but maintains she didn't set out to hurt people.
I definitely recognize and admit that I was abusing my power, but I also can't negate the fact that there was a part of me that was altruistic and was desperate to help people.
Our thanks to Janae. Rainier is now serving a 120-year prison sentence after being found guilty of multiple charges, including human trafficking and conspiracy to commit forced labor. Allison Mack was initially sentenced to 3 years in jail and was let out after 2 for good behavior. She's currently pursuing a master's in social work and working at a nonprofit to help bring the arts into prison. We switch gears now to the Louvre Museum heist, making headlines around the world, and the intense search for the fortune in priceless stolen jewels. ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman is deep behind the scenes in the investigation.
Imagine for a moment you're in a movie. The opening scene might begin a little something like this. Exterior, the Louvre, 9 a.m. The doors opening at Paris's famed art museum. People flooding in to see the Mona Lisa. Or the classic marble Venus de Milo. Or the priceless gems now known the world over. The diamond, sapphire and emerald encrusted French crown jewels. Now, don't look away for too long. Things are going to move quick, because in just 7 minutes, these priceless treasures will be gone.
thieves dressed as construction workers inside the gallery.
Mire usted esta imagen del momento en que uno de los ladrones del Museo del
The
Louvre.
stolen crown jewels are worth an estimated $102 million.
프랑스 파리 루브르 박물관에
A manhunt is currently underway in France.
The bold theft setting social media on fire.
Get in, losers, we're robbing the Louvre.
I think they are gone forever.
How does this even happen in 2025?
Like, we just saw Ocean 11 happen in real life.
So what does the Louvre jewel heist mean to you?
More than $100 million in precious jewelry gone. A race to find the gang and those jewels before they disappear for good.
It was a shock, really like a movie scene.
Who would you cast to play the robbers in this thriller? Omar Sy from Lupin? Or how about the ladies of Ocean's 8?
In 3.5 weeks, the Met will be hosting its annual ball, and we are going to rob it.
Join us on an adventure from the streets of Paris to the diamond capital of the world.
I'm in the Antwerp Diamond District. It is a chilling thought, the idea that those French crown jewels could just be going by in a box down this street.
Could a piece of one of those jewels end up in an engagement ring? Are those pieces now hidden away in some billionaire's lair?
A family member of one of the Louvre suspects, he has thoughts too.
I sense a little bit of pride in what his friend might have done.
And we'll take you inside a sting with a never-before-seen video of undercover agents taking back a stolen masterpiece. What clues are France's art police following? Are they close to recovering them?
They could be anywhere. They could be within a block of the Louvre, hidden, because they're small and easy to hide.
4 people have now been charged in this case.
I've come to this park to speak to a family member of one of the suspects. They're very, very nervous to speak to anyone.
We meet up with Mehdi, not to show us his latest workout routine, but because he says he's related to one of the alleged thieves, one of those arrested after a DNA match.
So, for me, like for a lot of people in the street where he grew up, in the 93, he's like a big brother. He's what we call a local star. He was someone who loved speed, thrills, and adrenaline. He was someone who did small jobs, who worked in a place where they sell fruit, things like that, who tried to get by, and who had kids.
Why do you think he was arrested?
I don't really know much about that. There's an ongoing investigation. In general, we believe in innocence, the presumption of innocence in this country. For us in France, it's very important to respect that.
They're saying on the one hand, they feel this theft. These jewels belong to them as much as they do to anyone living in the nice parts of Paris. But at the same time, I say to him, he's smiling a little bit. I sense a little bit of pride in what his friend might have done.
It hurts my French heritage, Napoleon's story. It pisses me off for my country. But if I had to tell him something before he went to do that, really, if he truly did it, and I speak in conditional, I would have told him, you know, these jewels, they belong to you. It's your heritage. If you want them, you just have to go to the museum. You don't need to go through the window or anything.
Of course, thieves don't always get away with it. Not when there are people like Bob Whitman in the world. Whitman served in the FBI for decades and founded their famed art crime team. He now works as a sort of for-hire Sherlock Holmes for private art thefts.
I've recovered more than $300 million worth of stolen art and cultural property, everything from Rembrandts to Monets to Renoirs to sculptures to prints.
Here at the Penn Museum in Philadelphia,
this is the Asian Rotunda. It's a beautiful room.
One of the largest crystal balls in the world from China, now back home thanks to Bob and his team.
This ball was found missing in 1989, and it took us 2 years to recover it. It was in a woman's house in Trenton, New Jersey. It was in her bedroom on a dresser.
What you're about to see is rarely ever meant to be seen. This is Bob Whitman, but not as Bob Whitman. He's undercover.
One of the most important cases I worked on was a theft from the Swedish National Museum in Stockholm. In the year 2000, on December 23rd, 3 individuals went in around 5 o'clock in the evening. It was dark, it was cold. These guys had machine guns. And they went in and they put everybody on the floor. They stole 3 artworks, 2 by Renoir and a Rembrandt self-portrait. Total value of the heist at that point was $42 million.
Years later, Whitman was working on an FBI investigation into a Bulgarian drug dealer who had some unique information.
Turns out he knew where the Rembrandt was. And more importantly, he could introduce an undercover agent to go in and buy the Rembrandt. That's how we got the lead. So I was the undercover agent acting as an authenticator for the Russian mob. And I was going to offer $250,000 in cash for the painting. They wanted to see all the cash, and they played it out on a bed to make sure it was real. Finally, I said, go get the Rembrandt. They came back to my hotel, and now they had the painting. So we unwrapped it, we looked at it, we were able to identify that it was the Rembrandt. The signal was, this is a done deal. And when I said that, the Danish SWAT team was able to come in and arrest these individuals and save the day. There's always that eureka moment. You work hard, you catch a tiger by the tail, and you let that tiger take you all around. You're hanging on for dear life.
That game of cat and mouse now playing out on the streets of Paris.
Sometimes there's a window of recovery time. I've seen situations where it took 130 years, like with the Bill of Rights, to get that one back. It took 5 years to get the Rembrandt back. 95% of the time that we have very valuable pieces, it comes back. I think these pieces are going to come back.
Our thanks to James. For much more in this story, including an interview with a man brazen enough to steal a Rembrandt, watch Impact by Nightline, Finding the Louvre Jewels, now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. Up next, we're with a true legend of comedy, Steve Martin, his award-winning side career many of his fans know nothing about. Welcome back. Steve Martin is a master of comedy, but his truest calling may be a certain 5-string instrument, the banjo. Martin with his musical partner Alison Brown celebrating the release of a new album, Safe, Sensible, and Sane. The Grammy winners sat down with ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Steve Martin has been making audiences laugh for decades, from his iconic wild and crazy character in the early years of Saturday Night Live.
We are two wild and crazy guys!
To his roles in beloved movies like Cheaper by the Dozen.
You soaked his underwear in meat.
And Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
And currently starring in the 5th season of Hulu's Only Murders in the Building, alongside his longtime friend and comedy collaborator Martin Short and pop star Selena Gomez. But one of his greatest joys is making music, recently releasing a folk album, Safe, Sensible, and Sane, with fellow banjo musician Alison Brown.
We're both long-term banjo players. And it's sort of been a sideline in my career. And every once in a while I release a record and people go, oh, I didn't know you played banjo. I go, what else you been doing? You're not following my banjo career?
Let's talk about the title, Steve. I mean, this is quite the contrast to being wild and crazy. Safe, sensible,
I think that's
and sane.
the point, but Safe, Sensible, and Sane came from a lyric of one of our songs. And none of it makes any sense.
Okay. Yeah. So, Allison, for you, did it ever hit you that, oh my goodness, I'm with a legend? I mean, you guys had known each other kind of before because of banjo music. But do you know who I am?
Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible privilege getting to collaborate with someone whom I consider to be one of the most creative minds on the planet.
Nice.
That's what I was supposed to say.
That feel?
I said it right, didn't I?
No, it was creative minds on all the solar system.
In the solar system. But at the same time, it's just has really been so easy, and I think just our shared love of this instrument has just opened a door that I never would have expected to get to walk through.
Steve started playing banjo in the 1960s as a teenager growing up in Orange County, California.
It was the folk music days, the Kingston Trio and the Limelighters, Peter, Paul, and Mary. And I was working at Disneyland, and they had a lot of acts who played the banjo, and I just loved the instrument. I thought, I've got to learn that instrument.
He used the instrument as part of his stand-up act in the 1970s, including appearances on The Tonight Show.
I thought, I need something to show the audience that I can actually do something. So I played the banjo.
His big musical break coming in 2001 when banjo legend Earl Scruggs asked Steve to feature on a remake of Scruggs' classic song, Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
When I went in to play, he was playing so fast, I thought, uh-oh. And I made it, but I thought, I better get back to basics here, and I started a whole new banjo career at that moment.
He won a Grammy for that performance, putting him on the map as a bona fide musician. Allison, a long-respected name in the world of folk, had her own unconventional path to the instrument.
My parents are both lawyers, and they really encouraged me to think of the banjo as an excellent avocation to talk about at cocktail parties. And so I went into investment banking, as a dutiful daughter would, and did that for about 3 years until I realized that refunding tax-exempt bond issues wasn't nearly as much a part of my heart as playing the banjo was.
Allison and Steve, both in the banjo scene, met by chance on vacation and started jamming together.
I had the idea for what became our first collaboration, which is called Foggy Morning Breaking. And before you knew it, we had this really nice little tune, and it went to #1 on Bluegrass Radio, which, you know, really surprised me for a twin banjo instrumental. That's pretty unprecedented.
So I thought, maybe we got something here.
Their new album initially landing at #1 on Billboard's Bluegrass charts shortly after release. It features other musical stars like Jason Mraz on Statement of Your Affairs and longtime rock and roll songwriter Alison Brown on the music video for the meditative ballad, Dear Time.
Hey, time. Has anyone ever stopped you and said, gosh, the banjo music, I love you as a musician? Have they said anything that stuck with you?
Someone sent me a video of a young woman, I think it was like a TikTok video, and she's saying, I was watching Steve Martin play banjo on video, and she said, and then someone said, you know, he's a comedian. I said, what? and I, you know, I grew up listening to his banjo music, had no idea I did movies or anything. It was very sincere, it was very believable, and so I was actually quite flattered.
What type of mood do you want listeners to walk away with when they listen to your music?
I would like them to feel like they are on a beautiful Caribbean island.
I just want them to say, I'd like to hear that again. Yeah.
Our thanks to Stephanie. The album, Safe, Sensible, and Sane, is out now. When we come back, Miranda Priestley is back in the building. The new trailer already seen by millions, and revealing when The Devil Wears Prada 2 hits theaters. And finally tonight, at long last, Miranda and company are back. Is tonight's Nightlight. The teaser trailer with Miranda Priestley's familiar stiletto striding down the hallway.
Miranda? Took you long enough.
Confirming the return of all 4 principal stars, Meryl Streep.
By all means, move at a glacial pace. You know how that thrills me.
Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
Fans clamoring for a first look, more than 2.5 million in just hours. It's official. The Devil Wears Prada 2 hits theaters May 1st. And that's Nightline for this evening. Catch our full episodes on Disney Plus and Hulu. We'll see you right back here same time tomorrow. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.